This is Mental Math Stage 4, and in this one we're looking at doing 4 operations with decimal numbers. So we're going to have a couple of different methods in here, so try and follow what I'm doing with each of them. It's going to be a little bit different each time. In the first one, 8, got 4.7 multiplied by 6, 4.7. Decimals are messy to multiply with. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change any decimal number and I'm multiplying into a whole number. So change 4.7 into a whole number and 8 times it by 10. This gives me 47 times 6. And doing that, we have got, using our column method, 47 multiplied by 6. 6 sevens 42, carry the 4. 6 fours is 24, plus that 4 is 282. But obviously, 282 was the answer to 47 times 6, but I want 4.7 times 6. So I can go back the other way. So what I'm going to do is reverse what I did earlier. So the opposite of multiplying by 10 is dividing by 10. So my solution will be 28.2. And another way of looking at this, when you're putting that decimal point back in, is here, roughly, if we were to estimate this, I'm doing 5 multiplied by 6, roughly. So my answer needs to be somewhere around 30. 28.2 is near 30. 282 is nowhere near it, obviously. So by estimating, you can also put that decimal point back in. For B, it's addition with decimals. Very straightforward, this one. Key thing to remember with this is to line them up correctly. Keep them in their correct columns. So the decimal point stay underneath each other like so. Here I've got the tens column and I've got the units over here. 3 plus 9 is 12, carry the 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus that 1 is 8, so 8.2 is my solution on this one. But the key thing is laying it out initially, first of all, keeping those decimal points underneath each other and keeping the digits in their correct columns. For C, it's very much the same. It's subtractions, so we do need to put the bigger number on top, 5.6, and we're taking away from it 4.7. And again, I've lined them up carefully, decimal points underneath each other, and the digits are in the correct columns. Here, we've got 6 take away 7, which obviously I can't do, so I'll need to borrow 1 from my neighbour. I'll borrow from this 5. So now I've got 16 take away 7, which is a 9. Bring the decimal point down into your answer. And here in the units column, now we've got 4 take away 4, which is obviously 0, and 0.9 is our solution. We could check this by, for instance, doing an inverse. We could do 4.7 plus 0.9, and I should get here, if I've done it correctly, 5.6. 7 plus 9 is 16, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. Bring the decimal point back down, and there you go, it is correct. For D, it's division, so we're going to need to use our bus stop on this. It is first number 2.72 inside the bus stop like so, and it's being divided by 4. What I'll say on this one, we'll come to it again soon. Decimal number inside the bus stop, absolutely fine. So our dividend is a decimal, that's okay. Outside here our divisor, that's a whole number. I need to have a whole number here. It is, so we can go straight away and divide this. 4 into 2 doesn't go. So we'll carry the 2 onto the next digit. Before I do any more, this decimal point needs to come straight up into our answer. So I know my answer is going to be 0 point something. 4 into 27 goes 6 times. 6 fours are 24, so we've got a remainder here of 3. Now 4 into 32 goes exactly 8 times, so we've no remainders left over. And that is our solution, 0.68. For E, again it's division, so it is first number inside the bus stop, that's our dividend, and outside it our divisor is 0.6. If you recall earlier, I said decimal number inside, absolutely fine, we can work with that. Decimal number outside our divisor, cannot have that, we don't want this. So what I need to do is change this 0.6 into a whole number. So I'll times it by 10. But whatever I do to this, I'm going to have to do exactly the same to my dividend. Times that by 10 as well. So now, it'll give me the same answer, but I'm going to do a slightly different calculation. I'm going to do 54 divided by 6, which is a lot more straightforward than what we had above here. This isn't actually a long division one, you're just going to have to use your times tables on this one. 6 into 54 will go 9 times. Don't have to do anything else with this. This is my solution because we did the same to both numbers. This is our solution. So 9 is my answer here. For F, back to subtraction again. So again, layout on this one is key. 16.7, and we are subtracting from that 7.8. So again, I've got decimal points underneath each other. We've got the tens column here, units and tens, all lined up perfectly. 7 take away 8 we can't do, so I will borrow 1 from my neighbour, and instead I'll do 17 takes away 8, which is 9. Bring the decimal point down into your answer, so my answer is going to be something 0.9. Above here you'll see at the moment I've got a 15 and I'm taking away from that 7, which leaves me with 8. So our solution to this one is 8.9. For G, we have got 6.6 multiplied by 3.4. Again, if you recall back to the first one, I said multiplying with decimals is very messy. So let's change them into whole numbers. This one, I'll times it by 10. And I'll also times the 3.4 by 10. Because I want both of them to be whole numbers. So I'm going to do 66 multiplied by 34 instead. From multiplication, I like to keep the big number on top, smaller number underneath. And we always start in the units column, so start on the right. We'll do 4 times 6, and then we'll do 4 times 6 again. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2 into the next column. 4 times 6 is 24. Add on the 2 that I carried, gives me 26. So what we did there was 4 multiplied by 66. You might carry your 2's and so on a little bit differently to me. That's absolutely fine. But you should still be getting the same solution at the very end. Now moving on to the 3. It's not actually a 3 we have here. This is actually 30 because it's in the tens column. But to make it 1 digit by 1 digit for the rest of this way, we're going to put in a 0 here. Because 30 times 6, 30 times 6, it's always going to end in a 0. We're going to do 3 times 6, which is 18. Carry the 1 into the next column. 3 times 6 is 18. Add on that 1 that I carried earlier is 19. And that 1 carries over into the next column. So what we did on this one was we actually did 30 multiplied by 66. That's what that is. Last step, add these two together. So we've got 4. 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. Carry that one. And we're left with 2 here. So the solution to 66 multiplied by 34 is 2,244. But that can't be our solution for this. If I was to estimate this, roughly, this 6.6 is 7, and roughly this 3.4 would be a 3. So my solution should be roughly 21. So you can figure out from that where you need to put your decimal point in here. If you still can't see where it needs to go, we multiplied by 10 twice at the very beginning. So to reverse that, we're going to have to divide by 10 twice. Or another way of saying that is dividing by 100. So my solution is going to be 22.44. And that looks right because it is roughly 22, which is what we're looking for. 21, sorry. So 22.44, it is roughly 21, which was our estimate earlier. Lastly, nice one to finish it off. Just a little bit of addition. I think I'll squeeze it in over here. 22.4. And we are adding to that 8.8. Again, decimal points are directly underneath each other, and each digit is in a clear and correct column. 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry the 1. Here I've got 8 plus 2 is 10, plus the 1 I carried is 11. Carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. And don't forget to bring the decimal point straight down into your answer. So that solution is 31.2. And there you have 4 operations with decimals, all very different to each other. So make sure you're revising these guys and practicing plenty of them every Friday. Thank you.